So you're probably trying to join the military to maybe go to college, have the money to do it. And I want to talk about this entire process because it's been about 3 years since I made a video about this, and I've now finished my master's degree, and I want to bring that up to you guys. What is up, guys? You're tuning in to Nicky MGTV for another video. As always, you can hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, or down in the comments below if you do have questions, but also subscribe if you want more helpful tips, as this video is going to show you. Also, I do some entertaining videos as well that you can check out, and I do have a gaming channel where you can subscribe over there, and I do live stream as well, some video games. But we're going to dive right into this, and that is about you guys going to school while you're in the military. First off, disclaimer to everything I say. It's going to suck, it's hard, but it's free, and you have probably gotten to this point because you're like me. You came from a point where you're probably not well off financially like I was. I didn't have anyone that was going to pay for my school, A. B, I didn't have good grades, just like many of you probably don't have good grades. I had a 2.3 GPA starting out, leaving high school, which meant community college for me. And on the last part here, a lot of you guys are maybe doing this because you're like, I don't even want to go to school, which is fine. You can get a trade from the military. You can go do another trade even after the military. But I'm going to give the fair warning, no matter what. If you join the military, they will want you to do some college, which is why they have these programs. And so if you don't go to school, you're going to have to figure out other things you can do to look good educationally wise that may not relate to a degree or whatnot, but I'm just giving you guys that fair warning. So a little bit of background information. You do have tuition assistance in the military, which will pay for 12 credits, which is about 3 to 4 classes, depending on how many credits each class is. For example, when I first started out, English, psychology, the very basics are about 3 credits per class. And then as I went up to upper division and did things like that, there are 4 credits a class. So it depends on how many classes you can get, but 3 to 4 is what you're looking at for that. Now, what are the factors that are going to affect you as far as when and how you take college? That is going to be how long you've been in. For the Navy specifically, that is a requirement to have you in for 2 years as a bare minimum. Now, on top of that, you're like, oh, well, now I got to wait 2 years. Okay, now your boot camp counts towards that time, so that's 2 months knocked off there. So now you're at 22 months. Then your A school could be a couple months, also holding period as well. So let's just round it to 6 months. That's 6 months off of your 2 years you have to wait. Plus, your time when you first get to your command, you're checking in, things like that. So, I'd say that the first year you're kind of like getting in the loop of how things are going anyway, so it kind of makes sense. When I was at my first command, I did take classes my first almost month or two I was there. Kind of crazy looking back, but one of the guys got me into classes really quick, and I knocked him out. But there are a lot of things that are going to hold you back, and I just wrote down a couple here. One is workups for deployment. Before you even go out to deploy, you have to do trials and make sure everything's working before you leave on a naval ship. Even if you're going to the Army, the Marine Corps, there's workups for that. There's what they used to call it Mojave Viper. I forget what it is now, but there's workups to ensure you can go to Afghanistan and Iraq and things like that. Also, looking at it, you're going to have qualifications. So obviously you got to learn how to do your job. You have to get your warfare devices if you're in the Navy. It may be even your physical fitness score. Say it's not good, or say your advancement score for the Navy enlisted advancement, Navy-wide advancement test. If that's not good enough, guess what? They could say you're not taking any classes, which is also another barrier. We had to get at least a 50 on the test, and I'm not going to go into the scoring of that, but it's kind of like middle of the road, bare minimum. It's pretty easy to get. Now, this big scary thing about this is there are a lot of people that are going to want your money, your tuition assistance. There's going to be people that are looking to market to you. And the last time I made this, I called out a couple schools like University of Phoenix, DeVry, things like that, where I was like, hey, you might want to check these schools out or understand what you're getting into. That ended up resulting in people bashing me like, Nicky, they are regionally accredited. You're an idiot. I get it. Yes. Obviously, these places are going to want your tuition assistance money or your GI Bill money. I am only giving you the fair warning because I've dealt with people that have had issues transferring those credits to other places, or people taking those degrees seriously. So what this is going to get into next is obviously understand where you're going to go with your college degree while you're in the military. To give you my background story of where I went to National University out of San Diego. They've been around since 1970, so that's about 50 something years right now. I believe it's 1970. I'm just rounding at this point, but they are regionally accredited. I talked to multiple schools I was considering transferring to that would allow me to finish my degree with them, or to do certain classes with them and transfer them over, because I did consider getting out of the Navy at one point and going to school at a different spot. Another reason why I chose this school is because it was one class a month, which knocked that out. So instead of doing 4 classes over 16 weeks, it was 1 class every month for 4 months. It equated to the same thing. It was just divided differently. I could hop in and out of classes a little bit faster being military. I believe the guy that did start the school was actually in the military and saw this being an issue, which is why he created this format. Now, you've heard all these good things about this school that I've talked to you about that I got my master's through, and that's great, right? But that is the warning I'm going to give you about everybody. It has to be applicable to you. Just because I had a great experience and I've enjoyed it and it worked for me and the degree I was getting to be a healthcare administrator, that does not mean that is where you need to go or what you need to do. And I give that fair warning because there's people that were like, oh, my sponsor went to University of Phoenix or went to DeVry or went to National or wherever. That's great, but you guys need to do your own research on this stuff. That's where my biggest pet peeve with this is a lot of people are very intimidated by school. I get it. It is intimidating. Now, what I'm going to tell you is spend 1 hour. You don't have to do a marathon session of 8 hours of looking at colleges and understand what you're getting into. You should just do some basic research. Where you're at. What are some private schools near you? Public schools? What are some community colleges, especially near your base, because they're going to tailor to military, and look at the hours of when their classes are, and then start talking to a counselor. That's your first step, is actually sitting down with a counselor and go to the school. Now, a lot of you guys are probably going to say to yourselves that, you're waiting for that big school when you leave the military. You're looking to go to Yale, Princeton, Harvard, wherever else, the big Ivy League schools, or, maybe it's just a UC school out of California. Who knows? But, I understand that a lot of you guys want to go to those big schools. No one's saying you cannot go to those big schools. But what I am saying is I want you guys to understand you can knock out a lot of classes while you are active duty. Even if you only use tuition assistance, you're looking at being able to knock out 8 classes. That saves you a lot of time and money versus having to go back to school and then start the whole thing over, where I'm going to tell you that I actually did use a lot of tuition assistance and my own money and financial aid, which allowed me to finish most of my, or actually all my associates and a little bit more, to where I was not even using any of my other resources yet. So obviously, do the big names matter in some scheme? Yes, but I'm going to say that if you're using your money right and you are using your time right and you're using your leverage of your experience from the military, maybe getting a degree to accent that, you might be better off and not really needing that big name school to accent where you already have some kind of leverage. You're a veteran. You obviously have some work experience, maybe in the field you're getting a degree in already. It kind of makes it a little bit easier when a lot of the things people are looking for in 2020 is not just a fancy degree, because as the value of bachelor's degrees go down, you have to imagine how that's going to affect the overall population. So to get into this too is how you're going to pay for school. Tuition assistance is obviously the main one that I'm kind of driving on this because that's the most common, but we're going to go over the others that I want you to consider because I don't want you waiting 2 years to actually get your degree. So tuition first off, tuition assistance first off. Yes, use it, obviously. It is very easy to apply for. You go on the WebTA website. You can go on Google WebTA once you're in the military, log in, and bam, you're there. As long as you complete the training, you can start applying as long as you have a degree plan on file, which you can do all of that online. You don't even need to do anything besides do it online. So, because that's free money right there, which is probably the fastest way that you're going to get school paid for. But if you're within that 2-year mark, we're going to dive into that as well. So the TA part, you need to apply at least 14 days ahead of when the class starts. Have it approved by the approver, okay? So that means you should probably like a month out do that. And I know with some community college classes that can be hard because they fill up quick and you have to have it approved within like 7 days of when you've registered. When I was at San Diego City College over at their community college. So I ended up paying, not out of pocket, I actually got a grant for that and went to school for free. That rolls us right into financial aid. Every January, you do your taxes. Go onto your financial aid website and apply for it. A lot of you guys are going to make like nothing every single year, like less than 30 grand. You're single, you're barely making anything. You're probably going to get some money for school. Do not throw away that opportunity. What I find sad is there's a lot of senior enlisted people that I've talked with that don't ever educate people on this or have never educated people on this. I'm like, it's free money that you can go to school. It is the government enticing you to actually go to school and pay the tuition. You already have your room and board and, food and everything, health insurance paid for. You're just worried about getting the class paid for. And a lot of times community college is not too expensive either, but you definitely can apply and get some money there. Do this with your taxes every year and you'll be fine. Do not take out the loans though. You're looking for grants, Pell Grant, etc. So look for that. And you can even apply now, but obviously it's almost the end of the year, so that's up to you. You can definitely try and apply and see what you get. I will say there are junior people that I have worked with that have gotten, I think, $2,300 to $2,600. And that's a lot more classes you could take that, the Navy is not paying for, the military is not paying for. Main thing that you should be looking for with these schools are regional accreditation. And not only that, but also, like I said, I made sure my school would actually transfer to other places because I was anticipating that, but that is some legwork you're going to have to do. Spend that 1 hour to, write a counselor over at the school you're trying to go to. It's really not hard. It's just one of those things. It does seem like a very cumbersome process. Sit down, relax, breathe. It's okay. You're going to make it. I think a lot of people forget how much of a cumbersome process it was to come in the military, all the paperwork and all these things that you were trying to go through. College is the same thing. It's cumbersome. You have to do a little bit of research. You're doing the same thing, just not for the military. Do it for college. The beauty of your military service is a lot of times there are schools that are going to look at this. For example, Tidewater Community College over in Norfolk area, right? That is the local community college, San Diego City College. A lot of their elective classes, classes people are taking pottery, photography, something they want to do. You probably got those credits already covered by being in the military, and they're saying, we appreciate your service. Thank you. Take these core classes that we need you to take, your English, your sciences, and your math. And so you're not wasting money on those either. This is going to be a battle between the degree you want and the classes you need. So, for example, if you're going to a school where you really want an English degree from, right, and they're only taking 5 of your credits from the military, but you're going to this other school and they're going to take 10, 15, is it really worth your time to be able to go to the class or the school that's going to only take 5 of your credits? You need to anticipate this disparity and where is your time going to be the most valuable? Are you really going to get the value of taking the couple more classes? Also, obviously, you got to make sure the degree is legit. Accreditation, what are you rolling it into? I'm just throwing degree names out there. I'm not trying to pick on English degrees by any means. My final thing for this entire advice piece that I have for you is do not accept the first no. Do not. And I'm going to explain that. That's from the military. That's for some of you bosses out there. I know some people are out there ready to say no and crush hopes and dreams, right? Try to get to yes. There is a yes somewhere, wherever you're at, get to yes. If it's your boss, say, how can I get to yes in order to scratch your back? What do I got to do for tuition assistance? If you're not in the tuition assistance window, make sure that you're looking at ways that you can become a yes. So does that mean doing financial aid? Does that mean doing out of your own pocket? Maybe if it's so cheap to go to community college, consider that. There is a possibility. I know you guys don't make a lot of money being junior, but you can honestly still get a lot of the school paid for even out of your own pocket if that was the last resort. And also, you're going to say, I've got deployment coming up. I've got this coming up or that. Honestly, there are a lot of professors, especially San Diego Community College that I was at the City College. I've talked to people that have been to Tidewater, other military base areas. Talk to your teachers. They are human beings. They understand you're in the military. A lot of them are going to respect that you're in the military. They're going to say, listen there, Johnny, you're really trying to excel. I appreciate it. I see you've given 100% this entire semester. Something came up. What can I do to help you out? A lot of them are willing to help you out. Do not accept no as the first thing. Sign up for the class and then write the teacher and say, listen, I work this certain shift on these certain days. I may miss a couple classes. I know that the policies, I can only miss so much. I'm in the military. Can you help me out? Can you meet me halfway? I'll meet with you during office hours. I'll do something in order to make it work where I submit the assignment before I even have to have it submitted, if I'm going to miss that class day. These are things that you have to be proactive about. No one is going to do it for you. Your LPO, your sergeant major, whoever is going to be your boss is not going to do this for you. You have to be your biggest advocate for yourself. I did not get to have a master's degree by depending on other people to figure this out for me. I've spent hours on this computer figuring that out. Right now, I'm trying to apply for the PA program to be a physician assistant through the Navy. Guess what? At the same time, I've spent multiple hours and days figuring out if that doesn't happen, how will I pay for it? How will I apply for it? When can I get in there? You know, these are all things that I do on top of working full-time and YouTube. So I'm telling you guys, it's possible. Sit down off your phone for 5 seconds and realize you're probably wasting your time giving your money and energy to someone else, and spend it on that computer and figure it out. You got free computers at the library, on base, off base. Also, a lot of you guys can use your computers at your work as well. There is a yes somewhere. I'm just so hyped up about this. I want you guys to succeed, and I literally can't believe how many people use excuses as to why they can't complete school. And I've heard every excuse in the book. I promise you guys, I'll get you guys probably at least 5 to 8 classes done. If you listen to some advice and you guys want to write me on Instagram, Snapchat, I'll get you there. We can figure something out for you. Obviously, I will say also there is online classes. I forgot that as well. And you're going to say, Nikki, I learn better in person. Trust me, do one online course. I'll keep you on track. Write me. I'll get you there. But as always, I hope this video helps you guys out. I hope it motivated you guys, because, you know, I just want you guys to be in the position I am. Like I said, I had no money for school. I had a shitty GPA, and I was just a kid with a dream, and I somehow made it here on YouTube to tell you guys how I made it. So I hope I can inspire you guys, and hopefully you guys will take this seriously. But if you guys do have questions, you can always hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.